All right, we're talking about equipment here. I want to give some tip, basically, not instructional. You figure it out on your own. Fishing freshwater, getting your line down without a downrigger effectively. I'm using these reels, the Abu Garcia 5601. I'm left-handed reeler, so 5600. I got a 5500 and a 6500 and the Daiwa 300L. I really like this reel, actually, the Daiwa. I use these glass kokanee rods. That guy's Jared Johnson. I've had this rod. I'm trying to see if I can find the. It's an M, so I'll look it up and put it in the description. Exactly the model I have, and they're awesome. They're fiberglass, and they're basically just a big noodle rod. And I've had some graphite rods that try to compete with these, but they end up getting broken. I've landed 10-pound fish on this. I mean, you got to be careful, but the back's there. It basically bends over like a fly rod or something. Anyway, these glass Jared Johnson kokanee rods. I run leadcore line. Okay, low drag. You get some direct feel to the fish when it bites. 12-pound leadcore. And I try to get a reel that holds at least 5 colors of that, in case some breaks off when you snag something. You still can get down later in the day without, making a quick field repair. I like to have between 5 and 7 colors of leadcore, so these reels basically cover that. And then I'll run a top shot where I connect the braid to the mono with just a knot. That's not really focusing. There, I'll put between 10 and 15 feet of a 12-pound mono top shot to a swivel. And then from there, I'll attach any additional leader I want. If I want to run it down to like 4-pound, or even step it up if I wanted to, or I can just put my lure directly onto this swivel. So typically, I'll fish this setup between 1.3 and 1.8 miles per hour ground speed on my Lowrance, and for trolling. And at those speeds, I'll get it between about 5 feet down with each color of leadcore. I can effectively fish 40 feet down at some speeds, depending on the lure you're using. If you got something with a like a diver bill on it, like a crankbait, it'll help dive, and you can get down there a little bit further. That's just a tip I use. One more thing on how to use it in the field is a lot of times I fish near the bottom in shallow areas, and I pick up fish that way. This is the biggest piece of information I think is useful. You got to flirt with disaster. You might snag a lot, but if you're willing to flirt with disaster and once in a while lose some stuff, I'll run my line till it ticks the bottom a few times. I put this in one of my other videos earlier, and then I'll reel up a few times, and then I'll stay at that depth. And if I think there's fish at that depth, that's the tactic I'll use to fish near the bottom. It's a tip for you. Flirt with disaster, because sometimes you'll snag and lose, but there's actually techniques to getting your line back to. You don't have to break it off every time. So that's just a couple bit of information you might find useful. One more thing. I want to recommend the Suffix 832 Advanced Leadcore. If you buy cheap leadcore, you may regret it. I have had success with some other brands, but I can't remember what they are. But if you buy real cheap leadcore, you might get a real cheap experience. Just the braid that they use on that brand leadcore is pretty quality. It doesn't fall apart or fray real easy.